Hello and good morning, dear students. Today we are starting chapter number 3. So, title of chapter number 3 is Scattering Theory of Particles. So, in the chapter, first of all, we are going to study introduction. So in introduction part, here we have to first of all study what is mean by scattering and what are the different particles that we are going to study. So scattering is nothing but interaction of particles. So this is very simple definition. What is mean by interaction of particles? So in scattering there is one special type we known as this type as collision. So in collision, if two particles having masses, here I have shown m1 and m2, suppose these particles came directly in contact with each other, so that is known as collision. So direct contact is important. Suppose first particle is came like this, second particle is came like this, and they collide here. So after colliding they will go in certain directions. So there is direct contact between these two particles, so that is known as collision. Collision is one part of scattering. But in case of scattering, two particles necessarily does not need to collide with each other. They will deviate, okay, by some point. Now why these two particles will deviate? Because of the fields of these two particles. What are those fields? Suppose electric field, magnetic field, okay, so or sometimes gravitational field. We can take gravitational field also into account. Suppose electric field of this particle is experienced by electric field of this particle, and this particle is scattered due to electric field of this particle, okay, so it changes path. And magnetic field is also there. Suppose this particle experiences magnetic field of this particle scattered. So again here I think what is mean by scattering is clear for you. Scattering is interaction of particles, but does not necessarily mean that interaction involves direct contact. Sometimes that may be interaction due to fields. Now here we are going to study what is mean by particles. First of all, particles are nothing but electrons, protons, okay, neutrons. You can take this as particles. Suppose you study interaction of two electrons, or you can study interaction of two protons, or interaction of two neutrons, or you can take atoms, molecules. So for example, you have studied Rutherford scattering. So in Rutherford scattering experiment, electrons are incident on, sorry, not electrons, alpha particles. Alpha particles are incident on gold nucleus. So those alpha particles are scattered by those gold nucleus. So that we study in Rutherford scattering. Now when we say particles, so particles means electrons, protons, neutrons, atoms, molecules, or particles. All those came in category of particles. So if we study interaction of these particles with each other, or with atoms, or with molecules, so that involves in scattering theory of particles. So here particles does not, we cannot distinguish particles, so particles may come in very large numbers, we can say millions, trillions. So we cannot have single electron, single proton, single neutron, single atom, single molecule. We have thousands of thousands, millions or trillions of atoms and electrons. So that's why when we study scattering theory of particles, particle may come in very large number. So first of all, in this chapter we are going to study scattering theory of two particles, and since experimentally it is impossible to get only two particles, we are going to study scattering theory of very large number of particles. So in that case, when we study very large number of particles, then we have to talk in terms of probabilities. Why? Because theory for single particle and theory for very large number of identical particles is totally different. When we have very large number of particles, then we have to talk in terms of probability. What is the, for example, in the chapter we are going to study scattering cross section. So scattering cross section means what? A is the area, okay, it is the probability area along which, so along certain directions how many particles are scattered. Suppose we have 50% probability for particular angle, it means 50% of particles are scattered in that angle, particular angle. So all those are important in this. Now we are moving to next point of this chapter. So next point is elastic and inelastic scattering. So here we are going to study difference wise elastic and inelastic scattering. So first of all, difference is very important to study scattering phenomena. So I am going to show you difference wise elastic and inelastic scattering. So first of all, elastic, and here we have inelastic. So major differences. In elastic scattering, when you see definition of elastic scattering, in elastic scattering, kinetic energy before scattering of particle is equal to kinetic energy of particles after scattering. So this is the first definition of elastic scattering. Kinetic energy of particles before scattering is equal to kinetic energy of particles after scattering. In case of inelastic scattering, this identity is different, means kinetic energy of particles before scattering is not equal to kinetic energy of particles after scattering. Okay, so this is the first major thing. Second important point in elastic scattering, linear momentum of particle is conserved. So momentum is conserved. What does it mean? Linear momentum before scattering is equal to linear momentum after scattering. So remember, momentum is vector quantity. Okay, so momentum we can write P vectorically, that is P after. In case of inelastic scattering, momentum is also constant. So same there is no difference for momentum conservation. So here we also have momentum conservation. So momentum is conserved. Again, if we look into third difference between elastic and inelastic scattering, so third difference is in elastic scattering, internal structure of colliding particles is intact. Okay, what does it mean? The particles which are colliding with each other, their shape, size, mass, okay, does not change, so that all remains same. So that is known as internal structure. But in case of inelastic scattering, internal structure changes. Okay, so this is another difference between elastic and inelastic scattering. In case of elastic, internal structure of colliding particle is intact. Okay, so this is important. But in case of inelastic scattering, internal structure changes. Now if you look mathematically, equation wise, if you look here, so you can write conservation of momentum as, suppose m1 is this particle having velocity u1 and this particle is colliding with another particle which is having mass m2 and velocity u2. So momentum of first particle is m1 u1, or m2 u2 is momentum of second particle. Now this is equal to m1 v1. So this is m1 mass of first particle, v1 is velocity of first particle. Now here v1 is the velocity after scattering, m2 v2. So this is momentum after scattering. Same equation holds here. m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 plus v1 plus m2 plus v2. So that is equation of momentum conservation. Now if you look equation for kinetic energy conservation, so equation is 1/2 m1 u1 square plus 1/2 m2 u2 square is equal to 1/2 m1 v1 square 1/2 m2 v2 square. So this equation here for inelastic scattering is different. Energy conservation 1/2 m1 u1 square plus 1/2 m2 u2 square is equal to 1/2 m1 v1 square plus 1/2 m2 v2 square plus q. Now here we have this q for energy conservation. Remember, kinetic energy is not conserved in inelastic scattering, but law of energy conservation holds for inelastic scattering. You know what is law of conservation of energy? Total energy must be constant. So total energy is constant means what? This is initial energy, this is final energy. Suppose we have, this is initial kinetic energy, final kinetic energy, but total energy must be conserved. That's why we have to introduce this q over here. Now here, if q is negative and q is positive, two cases arises. So if q is negative, what does it mean? This term is greater than this term. So kinetic energy after scattering is greater than kinetic energy before scattering. So if kinetic energy is greater, so what does it mean? It means energy is released during the process. So this process is known as exoergic process. So on the other hand, if you see q is negative, sorry, this term come over here, exoergic term. Okay, so here q is negative. I think this is right, exoergic. Okay, now if q is positive, q is positive means what? This is initial kinetic energy, this is final kinetic energy. This term is less than this term. That's why addition of these two terms becomes this term. So if this is positive, it means energy is absorbed during the process, and such process is known as endoergic process. Okay, now see, exoergic and endoergic, these are the two processes arises in inelastic scattering. With this, I think we should stop our lecture over here. In next lecture we will see remaining chapter. Thank you.